Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be chatting about chapter 12 through 26 of Fourth Wing. There will be spoilers, so if you have not finished through chapter 26, please save this and come back so we can talk about it when you read it. The last video we left off on presentation day. Violet had just finished the gauntlet, so now we'll be moving on to actually presenting in front of the dragons, and I cannot imagine how scary that would be to walk in front of 100 dragons, especially knowing that they could find you unworthy and burn you on the spot. Like, not worth their time. They're just gonna get rid of you. That would be terrifying. While they were walking in front of the dragons, Vi caught interest of a couple green dragons because they could smell the scales in her armor that her sister gave her at the beginning of the book. And so that was a very up close and personal experience, terrifying. But along the line of dragons, there was also a little golden feather tail, which is essentially a baby, I think. They don't know much about feather tails, but it was really little. And so a lot of people were scrutinizing its size, saying that it was it'd be too weak to go to war and whatnot. And then some of the cadets were joking that it'd be perfect for Violet because they're both frail and whatnot, smaller than everyone else. But then we'll move to the threshing. And of course, when they go out on the field to bond with dragons. Jack Barlow and his little posse are on the hunt to kill the little golden dragon, just because it's small and they think it's a weak link and shouldn't be able to live. But Violet stands her ground against all three of the much larger cadets. She destroys Jack's shoulder with her awesome dagger skills. She knocks Orin out, and then at that point, a big black dragon lands right behind her, and he finishes off the third cadet who's running away. And so this dragon chooses Violet to bond because of how she stood up for the little golden dragon. And when they go back to record the bond, the little golden announced that she also chooses Violet. So Violet is the first person to ever bond two dragons. Violet, the weak and fragile cadet that is a danger to their squad, and she bonds two dragons, and one of them being the rarest, most powerful breed. Heck yes. But the downside is that Tarn, the black dragon, he is mated to Sigale, which is Xaden's dragon. Forced proximity, I'm here for it. So now Violet and Xaden, their life kind of depends on one another. Article 1, Section 1 of the Codex, the quote is, "A dragon without its rider is a tragedy, but a rider without its dragon is dead." But as dragons bond with their riders, the strength of the bond could affect them in a way, like if Violet were to die, Taryn might not make it. So essentially, if Violet dies, it may very well kill Taryn. And because Taryn is mated to Sigale, Sigale would die. And then because she died, her rider, Xaden would die also. So essentially, they're all stuck trying to keep each other safe. So now, to keep their leader safe, all the rebellion kids are suddenly being super nice to Violet. They're helping her train to get stronger, and they're kind of protecting her around the quadrant too, just to make sure she survives so Xaden survives. But we'll go back to the threshing. Dane freaking kissed Violet. Something that she had thought she wanted growing up with him, thought they'd get closer than just best friends, but she doesn't want that anymore. So there was no spark, which I'm thankful for because Dane is an ass. So it is what it is. But he's also been pushing her away since the first time he was trying to force her to leave and go to the scribe quadrant. So I think that's definitely put a huge wedge between them. And then later he was like, oh, it was a mistake. We can just be friends until after graduation because he's her squad leader and it's frowned upon and he's Mr. Rule Follower. So LOL. Then after Violet is bonded, she visits the archives library to visit an old friend, Jasenia, and asks for a copy of the folklore that her dad had given her. But when Jasenia returns, she wasn't able to find a copy looking of any sort of folklore, including Venin or Wyvern, which is weird because the archive should have every copy of any written text. So what's being hidden? Why aren't fairy tales, folklore in the archives or accessible to everybody? But after this, Violet cuts the bullshit that is Dane Atos freaking finally. And then after that, the unbonded riders, they're trying to still bond with a dragon, so they attack Violet in her sleep, and Darna freezes time briefly so Violet can escape Orin, who is unbonded and trying to get his revenge, obviously. But Xaden steps in with his shadows and kills all 5 of the attackers, so that was great. Xaden then assigns Liam to basically babysit Violet. That would get old so quick. I wouldn't want someone to be my shadow like that. But after this, Violet starts channeling finally. She is a lightning wielder. And then we have a little saucy scene with Xaden. It's just a kiss, but it was really great. Let's see, after that, Jack finally gets his chance to spar with Violet, but she kicks his butt, of course. I mean, barely. She almost got her ass handed to her, but he didn't win, so obviously that pissed him off even more. After that sparring match, the squad battle starts, and Violet gets her squad to steal a pretty important map from the general's office, which gets them the win for the squad game. So then they get to spend a week with a active duty squad and kind of mirror them and our shadow and learn that, which happens to be where Mira is stationed. So it's pulling at my heartstrings that they get to catch up. But during this visit, Taryn and Sigale have been separated, and Xaden surprises Violet, saying that it turns out they can only be separated for 3 days at a time. Swoon. That's where we'll stop for now. I'll be back soon with the next section. Onyx Storm is releasing. Oh, it's released today. So I really want to get through these books and get to the new one. So yeah, I'll be back. Thanks for watching.